If Dave Ramsey thinks Bitcoin is a scam, yet most people investing in it are making tons of money, what's really going on? That's exactly what we're going to figure out in today's video. Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone. If you're new to this channel, I help overstressed professionals build passive income to reach financial freedom. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell to be updated on all new videos. Now, when I got out of dental school and a surgical residency, I actually use Dave Ramsey's financial advice that he teaches to millions of people each year to get out from under over $300,000 in student loan debt. Now, at that time, I also was sticking to his investing advice, which typically involved investing in the stock market, mainly with index funds. But a few years ago, I also realized that I was relying on only one income source from this practice, and that I decided to make a change and start building multiple streams of passive income using real estate syndications. And since then, the thought of investing in something that I had no clue about, like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, wasn't even on my radar. Now, ever since Bitcoin was created in 2009, investors have been looking for ways to make money from it. And what we're starting to see now is that all types of businesses are jumping on this Bitcoin bandwagon too, as many of them are accepting payment in cryptocurrency. Now, even if you don't have a clue about what Bitcoin is, let's take a look to see if it could potentially be a right investment for your portfolio. So I think the best place to start is exactly what is Bitcoin? Fiat money, such as US dollars, is actually regulated and backed by the government. So, in other words, the government, they control who to give it to, they set the interest rate in order to lend it out, and as we've seen lately, they can print more whenever they want. On the other hand, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital cash that actually eliminates the need for any type of intermediaries like the banks, like government. And they actually use cryptography. That's the whole art and science of it, cryptography, to keep it secure. Now, when first learning about Bitcoin, I thought, hey, because you see these pictures of people holding up these coins, I thought it was actually a physical coin to possess, but this isn't the case. Bitcoin has its balances kept on public ledger that everyone has access to. So each record is encrypted for security, yet it's fully transparent. So really anybody, you, me, or anybody can see what's going on within the network. So in other words, the passing of secret information can only be read by actually the sender and the receiver on the network. So, who actually started Bitcoin? Well, it was founded back in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, once you start reading about Bitcoin and watching videos, supposedly Nakamoto was a pseudonym and was careful to never reveal his self identifying information with his fellow developers early on. And to this day, Nakamoto remains anonymous and it seems like he never wants to be discovered. How exactly does Bitcoin work? Now, each Bitcoin is a computer file stored in a digital wallet. It's either on a smartphone or a computer. It's powered by open source code known as the blockchain. And this is actually a digital ledger that tracks the creation and movement of each Bitcoin. Now, because this whole process is public and decentralized, anybody with internet access can view any transaction within the network's history. This gives the blockchain's history full transparency while users' identities remain anonymous. Within each wallet, there is a public and a private key. Now, both of these work together to allow the owner, if you own Bitcoin, that allows you to initiate and digitally sign your transactions, giving proof of authorization. Now, think of a public key as sort of your home address. Now, this is what you would give out to people in order to come to your home. In this case, this is what you would give out to people in order to receive money. And private key, on the other hand, is similar to the actually key that you would use at your house to unlock your door, which that keeps people from going in, that keeps you safe. The private key in this case allows you to keep your cryptocurrency safe. Now, if once you start learning a little bit about this, or you've probably heard about people quote mining Bitcoin, and I think that's why I thought there was actually some sort of coin that people would go out and they would mine. Hey, here's a Bitcoin. But what does that actually mean? So, how do you actually mine Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin mining is actually the process of creating new Bitcoin using computer systems with specialized chips. And they're actually out there, they're competing to solve these mathematical puzzles. And the first anonymous miner to actually solve the puzzle is actually rewarded with Bitcoin. And the mining process also, it confirms transactions on the cryptocurrency's network, making them trustworthy. So initially, after Bitcoin was launched, it was actually the people that were quote mining it were using regular desktop computers like the one that I'm talking to you on right now. But due to this extremely slow process to actually mine the Bitcoin and for these computers to do these calculations, now what you're seeing is these huge quote mining farms, and it's all these large mining pools, and they're actually spread out all over the world. That, as we know, consumes a lot of energy. Also, Nakamoto, he originally limited the supply to only 21 million Bitcoin it's ever going to be made. That's it. No more can be made. Just like on the other hand, with money, again, they can just print it whenever they want, which is why we're seeing so much inflation. But he set it to where there was only going to be 21 total ever, and the last one won't be mined until the year 2140. Now that you know a little bit about Bitcoin, how it works, how it's mined, I wanted to take a look at what the some of the people in the financial industry, such as who I've used to listen to a lot, and I still think he's very relevant, Dave Ramsey. What does he think about Bitcoin, and what does he think about cryptocurrency? Because most people that actually call into his show, they're asking for financial advice. It typically involves what? Debt reduction. And typically his answer is like always the same: is use his, 7 baby steps. Start with $1,000, emergency fund, get out of debt, debt snowball, on and on and on. But lately, he seems to be getting more and more questions about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because of the popularity. Now, I actually went on YouTube before this to do a little research, and I looked at a couple of videos that his show has produced. And one was with actually a 24-year-old titled, "Should I Invest in Cryptocurrency?" And the guy called in, his name was Michael, and he told Dave he had actually saved up 3,800 bucks and wanted to know what were some of the best investments that he should look into as a 24-year-old. Now, Dave went on to tell him how when he was also 24, he made a lot of poor and bad financial decisions that actually eventually led him to be broke. Now, at the time, when Dave was 24, he claimed that he bought a lot of this nothing down real estate, and he also got into a lot of gold futures, which actually caused him to lose everything at that time and eventually file bankruptcy. He acknowledged that both cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin, this whole space is real hot and people are making tons of money on it. But he also told Michael that as a quote old guy, cryptocurrency, in his opinion, it falls under the heading of trying to get rich quick. And he told him that, you know what, he hasn't found many people that actually do follow through and get rich quick. And he said he doesn't like losing money. Who does? Now, he also states that because of the whole process of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, and it's a blockchain and this and that, that it's a complicated investment. It's very hard to understand. Thus, it makes it a very, very highly risk investment. In fact, he described it as downright mysterious because it was something that could easily rise either 300% in a year, but it also the whole bottom could drop out. So now it seems that Dave has made it very clear to not invest in cryptocurrency, typically due to concerns about it being very volatile, lack of regulation, and short track record of growth, which we're going to get into in just a few minutes about that, which I have a question about that. But here's the kicker. He actually has a YouTube video, which I'm going to link to this video below this one, that was produced back in February of 2014, and it was actually titled, "Is Bitcoin a Good Investment?" You can go look at it yourself, click on the link if you want to listen to the whole thing. So let's put this whole thing in perspective, okay? At the time that that video was released, 2014, the Bitcoin price was $550. All right. As of today, when I'm talking to you right now, the price is around $50,000. All right. So I went to a website called costavg.com and I put in a couple of calculations. All right. Now, this is what I came up with. When he released that video, "Is Bitcoin a good investment?" It was February the 28th, 2014. And what I did is I went and said, okay, how about if we started from when Dave said completely don't invest in Bitcoin and we only invested $100 a week. Okay. So I put that in. So from that date till today's date in December of 2021, we would have invested a total of $40,700 in Bitcoin, $100 a week. As of today, our return on investment would have been over 5,000%, and we would have just a little over 2 million bucks in Bitcoin. How about that? I understand that nobody is right all the time. And in this video, he said that there's some, the video that he's talking about in 2014, again, you can listen to it, but he said, you know what? There's some really intelligent people out there that are starting to invest in Bitcoin. And you know what? It's a really good way to turn $1 million into nothing. Now, since then, there's other videos where he's put out there again, where he stated that if you invest in Bitcoin, you don't know what you're doing. Bitcoin is stupid, and that you're stupid if you don't invest in it. Now, I understand that he doesn't veer much from what he teaches people to invest in over the long haul, avoiding highly volatile investments and instead invest in lower risk investments that have a record of compound growth over the long term, such as mutual funds. But his description of Bitcoin indicates that it doesn't meet his criteria, even though Bitcoin has actually averaged 200% over the last decade. Yeah, 10 years. To me, that's amazing. And I don't know about you, that seems pretty solid to me. But hey, I'm just a periodontist. What do I know about investing? So now the question we must ask ourselves is, what is the future of Bitcoin? Now, none of the financial experts out there, of course, knows what the future holds. It doesn't matter if it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, whatever. But the more I learn about Bitcoin, the more I like it. Now, I'm not recommending that you invest in it, but if you're interested, I recommend that you, like anything else, understand it, start your own due diligence. But I will forewarn you, it's very easy to get sucked down the crypto rabbit hole. Enjoy.